life is full of a lot of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and being at Kelderman is definitely one of them. But driving the Joe Dirt car in Oskaloosa, Iowa, once in a lifetime. See ya. Wow.
We the people.
I was hoping for one of those.
No, we're having multiples of those.
You're a little overkill, sir.
No,
that's the way overkill's
It is 4th of July.
Overkill's the name of the game, man.
Yeah. If you're gonna kill it, let's overkill it.
All right. Well, being you're a car guy, I think you might enjoy this.
Huh. Pretty sure
Maybe.
we will. I'm ready.
Maybe.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, go ahead. You're first.
Well, thank you. So you're obviously heavy Mopar.
Yep, that's born and raised on it. I can't get away from it.
Pantera didn't hurt my feelings though.
No.
Mopar or no car.
So you really do have the Joe Dirt car.
I do have the Joe Dirt car.
Okay, we're going to talk about that last.
Yeah, that's a great story too. So.
All right, GTX.
GTX.
Convertible.
Yeah.
That says dirt tag.
That's got a 472 fuel injected Hemi in it.
Rowdy is her name. I only did the truck hole.
Yeah, the CJ6 Jeep bottom.
That's the
Yes,
half
that is the real one.
Wow.
I was able to track that down and bought it off some guy in southern Iowa for $500.
Where's the other half?
It's in the other building.
Okay, so you do have both.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So, and then I had my buddy, my airbrush artist. I just took that whole picture to him, and he copied it. He got it that accurate.
So you've put this collection together over the last 23 years. So your first Superbird was the start.
Yes. I mean, if we go even a little further, the Indian motorcycle I got in '91.
Okay.
So I got this by freshman year of college.
Love that.
So
you rode an Indian in college.
yeah, that was the only motorcycle I had for 10 years.
I rode an IT 175 and a GPZ 550 and a 1200 Sportster in college.
Okay.
Of course, I didn't ride them all at the exact same time.
What
That's what I
Indian
had.
is in the living room?
That's a 38 Chief. We'll check that out here in a little while.
What year is this?
47.
I love man that puts a motorcycle in his living room. It was
So
awesome.
I found a
It doesn't hurt you about that.
No, it doesn't hurt anybody.
I found a 47 last week. That's about 40 miles due north of Sturgis. That has been in the guy's garage since '74.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we'll show that hopefully sometime in the next few weeks, but that's cool.
Very cool. So we got this in '91, and then the next one, my little brother, 6 years younger than I, we bought this in '94, and he rode this to high school for 2 years. And just a little Magneto, little 640 Scout. And these are 3050 cc's, and these are kind of the same motor they put in all the military bikes, but you could literally bore out these cylinders 1/4 inch and make them a 37 cubic inch.
Right, so this is kind of the Indian version of the WLA back in the day, if you
Correct.
will. And,
Yep.
and the Scout's kind of a baby Indian.
Yep, and you know, the flat tracker look.
Okay, so you guys are full-blown gearheads.
Yeah, I mean, when I bought that thing, it looked like this, but it was missing half the stuff.
That is really cool. I like the fact that you have left them alone.
Yeah, it's, I mean.
I mean, you can restore anything, but I'd rather ride that.
Correct. I'm down with that. People will look at you, you're silly, but there I was silly.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
So you had NASCAR on the television.
Yeah, so I listened to the old Bob Jenkins, you know, early Mike Joy, and you know, the Dr. Jerry Pern. I just like listening to stuff it's just relaxing for me listening to Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin, Kyle Petty, you know, Jeff Bodine, all those old school guys.
So what are your thoughts on the fact is your wing cars here ran faster back in '69 and '70 than they run now?
I think the fact of that is those guys were absolutely insane.
Absolutely not.
They weren't running onto these tires.
No, they're running bispline tires.
Or brakes.
Yeah, that's just unbelievable if those guys could manhandle those cars around the track.
I mean, the king, Richard Petty was running over 200 miles an hour commonly.
Yeah, unbelievable. But,
Let's see your first bird.
Yep, so that's a 446 pack. That car, that's a great story on that. So what happened was I was wanting to get I'd always dreamed of having one of these, and business was doing okay back then. I mean, we were in a big company, but you know, my goal was always to get a wing car, so I subscribed to the Wing Warriors Club of America, and that was based out of Boone, Iowa. So every month I'd get it, you know, the minute I'd look to see if there's anything, and we had actually had a pretty decent year with Dad's combine down corner. We sold a whole bunch of them. We had some money in the bank, and so I'm like, well, maybe I'll get lucky, you know. And Sunday, got home from church on Sunday, and I see the newsletter sitting there, and I asked my wife at the time, when this comes. She's like, oh, I don't know, Wednesday. So I looked through it real quick, and there in the back's 440 vitamin C, 446 pack vitamin C Superbird, you know, needs total restoration, $20,000, and I look down, it's in Riverside, Iowa, which is an hour away.
No way.
Way.
No way. Way. Sure.
So I hurry up, call the number, and I call, and a girl answered the phone, and I said, hey, I'm calling about the car, and she's like, well, Dad's out showing it to some guys from Minnesota right now, and I'm like, yeah, I just didn't know what to say. I said, well, I live in Oskaloosa, I want to come look at the car. So I have him call me right away. A little while goes by, about an hour, nobody called back, so I call again, and this time the guy answers the phone. He's like, I think you're too late, man. Somebody in Minnesota's gonna buy it. And I'm like, well, did they leave you a deposit? And he's like, no, but they said they're gonna buy it tomorrow. So I'm like, in the back of my mind, I was like, no money down, no deal until there's cash on there. So I said, will you show it to me tonight? And he goes, yeah, you just come by about 5 o'clock. So this is like January 3. It's cold as a witch's tit. We go, me and my buddy, drive over there, and it's in a pole barn, no heat, anything, and he's got a little salamander heater hooked up, you know, to warm it up. But we walk in, open the door, and there it is. It's unrestored vitamin C, burnt orange. I'll show you some pictures here when I dig out on my phone. And there it is. There's my car, my dreams. It needs restored, and I'm just like, I said, I'll take it. And he's like, whoa, man, you know, I can't do that. You know, I told the guy. I sat there for over an hour begging this guy to sell this to me. And I'm like, I got a point where I got a company check, 20 grand, set on the toolbox. Said, ad says 20 grand. Here's 20 grand. I mean, how you have no deposit from the Minnesota guys?
Yeah, I mean, deal's open.
Exactly. And I was here. We sat there for 90 minutes trying to get something out of it, and he wouldn't budge. So I left the check there, and I said, you know, hoping he'd run and cash it in the morning, but I'll call you by, he's 11 o'clock, you know, so 11 goes by, I haven't heard from him. So I call him up at work, and he's like, hey, man, Jeff, I got some bad news. And I'm like, well, heart just hit the floor. He goes, I go, what? And he goes, well, the price went up. And I said, oh, really? And he goes, it's $24,000 now. And I said, okay. And I said, well, I give you, if I bring you $4 grand a night, do we have a deal? Because I obviously left you a $20,000 deposit sitting in your toolboxes. It's a done deal. He goes, yeah. I'm bringing a check for $4 grand already written. Don't expect me to get there and then it's 26 grand or something. He goes, no, you bring me $4 grand additional at 6 o'clock tonight. It's your car. So we went and got it, brought it home.
So in the Mopar world, this is a double V.
Yep.
V code for 6-pack and V for vitamin C orange. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, it was, you know.
And actually, that was relatively cheap back then.
Yeah, they were in the 75 to 80.
I've always watched these cars. I used to take the newsletter, but I never got anything bought out of it, so I gave up. Because they were always, back in the day, if you were going to buy one of these cars, which is what you did, you had to pay ahead of the market. If you weren't, so obviously it was a 20 grand car.
Yep.
But you paid 24, so you paid a little bit ahead, maybe, of the market that week, but not really. That's awesome.
Yeah, so when I restored it, you know, my goal was, you know, I'm building this like a hot rod. I'm not going to try to restore it, and I'm not worried about all this paint stripes here and here and all this stuff. I said I did a rotisserie. We did, you know, I sent off, got a media blasted, then I made a rotisserie. I did the bottom of it myself. We painted the whole thing orange. I, you know, tore all the suspension apart. Back then it was painting it, you know, because we didn't have powder coat line. I think I have the powder coat line now, restoring these things.
Yeah, all the parts you can do.
Yeah, you know, I restored it, had the motor rebuilt, did a purple cam, you know, just hooker headers. You know, I was doing a bunch of stuff with Phoenix Gold and, you know, a bunch of the stereo stuff back in the day with the trucks. So when we took this to SEMA in '05. This was actually at SEMA, and it was also in the Phoenix Gold booth at CES.
Okay.
Later on that year. So we had fiberglass, we had subwoofers in the trunk and on the deck lid, and every place you could put speakers, we had fiberglass brackets made, and I mean the purists lost their mind.
They don't like that, for sure.
Full stereos. We got big wheels. This is also American Racing's anniversary year, so that's why we have the torque thrust.
Got disc brakes.
Think about that. I've been resto mod before the resto mods were really coming on hard.
Okay, so how fast have you driven it?
Well, my brother lost his license at 110 mile an hour in it. I have
Was he in
it.
reverse?
Yeah, exactly. That was after he hit the brakes when he saw the police officer.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fast.
saying.
It's fast, and it's, I did a NASCAR style exhaust with boom tubes and stuff. So the faster you get,
So here's what he's referring to right here. So do you have it all running out this side?
No, I got
No, okay.
two of them. Those are the BSR boom tubes. Actual NASCAR.
So the NASCARs actually, correct me if I'm wrong, they run them all on one side.
I believe you're right.
Yep, and it's crazy loud. I had the Bobby Allison car, the one that set the record in '84, the Miller Lite car, 237 at Daytona, I remember what it was. But it was still set up, it's down one side. Driving that car was, wow, that was a hoot.
I bet. Yeah, so.
Question on your GTX as we started off with, the exhaust.
So then this was a Cherry Bomb SEMA car a year later.
It's huge. I mean, what is that?
Those are 3-inch, collecting 3-inch into the Cherry Bomb stuff coming outside.
I knew one 2.5. Most of the people out there that are watching right now are pretty switched on, but when you have two of these cars that were at SEMA at CES, I mean, they're serious cars.
Yeah, it's kind of the best of the best, really, when it comes down to it.
I don't know that I've ever seen that color. It's neat.
68. So in a little while we'll push these out, and I'll bring this car down because it got a Hillborn EFI on it with 8 stacks coming through the hood.
This is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a wide body in this body style.
Well, this is Kyle Petty's old high school car.
Yeah,
No
the pure
way.
white is dope.
Yeah.
Kyle Petty's high school car.
Yeah. So this car was his uncle's, the one that I forgot the name, but the one that got killed on pit road in the early '70s. Okay, sat in the garage a couple years after that, and then Kyle's aunt, was like, I want to get rid of the
Was
car.
that when the pace car convertible went off the track? And
I can't remember. I don't know the details.
that was '71, I think.
It'd been about right time frame.
Okay. Yep.
Fast forward a couple years, Kyle needs his car. The King gets this, and of course Kyle wasn't going to leave it alone. So him and some of the guys. So the way it looks like now, this is still the paint that they painted it and made it the white body in the King's race shop. But I got it from Rutledge Wood. Okay, Rutledge is the one who did the forged lines and the wheel woods and the 5-speed conversion. Wow. So this is a cool car too.
The rear quarters are so cool. Look at
Yeah,
that.
and it's one of those things I can't ever. There's a few dents in it, but I can't ever repaint this because this was done in the Petty garage.
Oh, it's sick.
Which, I mean, you guys are amazing what you do with metal, but I mean, these guys are,
Yeah.
to have this car actually built in Petty, I don't think I've ever seen one wide body like that. That's really cool. Pantera.
That's good. That's a great story too.
Famterra.
So is it a GTS, or did you just,
No,
it's made to
I
look
bought
like
it like this, and this is one of those. I had one. I bought one to restore in college because college kids always have a lot of extra money.
Do they?
I don't know what college you went to.
Yeah, what else I do they?
Bad idea. I got halfway through it, and I was broke. I had to get rid of it, but that's where I ain't going down that road. So this case, I saw this one advertised March 2020 on eBay, and ended up coming out of LA, and it was right during COVID. And I remember buying the plane tickets and having that discussion with my wife, like, this COVID thing, do you think you should be flying? I'm like, I got a cargo bill, of course. Yeah. So I flew out there. So I got it, bought it. I'm driving it around. That thing's handling good, drives good, and everything. I'm not too worried about it. Drove it out to Palm Springs to my buddy's house. Everything's good. And I'm like, I think I'm just going to try to drive it home, but that's kind of crazy with the car you just bought. So we'll just drive it halfway, which is 2 can carry.
Okay.
Long story short, I got to Grants, New Mexico, and she went boom. So this car had nitrous on it, and one of the pistons was, cracked pretty good and came apart. So got it home, immediately tore it apart. This had white interior. It had an old Motec EFI kit running this 8-stack that I called Motec, gave him the serial number, and he's like, we got to go down in the filing cabinets. This is so old, I don't think anybody works here that probably put this kit together. So I said, well, okay, so we decided to, obviously I had to do new motor. So I found this is a 408 Cleveland stroker with 4 V heads. We thought about going aluminum heads. I bought the motor, it just had a couple dyno runs, but it sat for 5 years. So I take it to the machine shop, he tears it down. He's like, you know what, these heads these are pretty good shape. So he goes, I would just run this. We converted the 8-stack over to current Holley stuff. So then I ran the current Holley ECU, and then we cut out the dash, the original gauges, 3D printed, and stuck in the big 12-inch Holley screen.
Cool.
So yeah, it's so meanwhile, if you've had Panteras, you've seen the wiring harness. So I'm like, screw that, got rid of that. So I put a painless wiring harness in it.
Okay.
Redid the air conditioning. So you see I put Recaro seats in it, converted the interior over to black, had custom door panels made. I already had the new radiators in it, so I didn't have to do that.
Next question before you do it. Where are the door poppers? Is it there?
Right here.
Fob. Oh, it's just on the fob?
Yep.
Okay. It's always interesting when you walk up to a car that doesn't have door handles, trying to figure out where they put the door poppers.
Yeah. So, I had David Adams, the guy who used to do all the stuff for Kicker, make my door panels. I did that push button, but check the dash out. Isn't that cool?
Very cool. He's obviously not scared. He even rested him on a Pantera. The Superbird GTX.
So I'm racing at Ozarks, about 2 months ago, and my good buddy Dalton, Red Dirt Mopar, he's a friend of mine down south of Norman.
He's definitely very, very popular on the internet.
Yeah, he's really cool. He sends me
I don't
a
know
picture.
how he finds them all, but he does.
Oh, he does. Him which leads into the Joe Dirt car, but him and Troy at Mopars 5150.
Yep.
Those guys find more damn cars.
They're good.
They're good guys to know if you like Mopars.
They are. Both those guys are really good guys to know.
So I just got a car at the track, and I go in, I grab my phone, and Dalton has sent me a picture of the Joe Dirt car up for auction at Barrett Jackson in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
And it's 7 days away. And the ad reads, Joe Dirt tribute car. And I'm like, man, somebody went to a lot of work for a tribute car. It's not gonna be worth a lot of money. And so I call him, and he's like, dude, you gotta go buy that car, because my nickname is Deerte. I've got license plates all over here that say
His
Deerte.
nickname?
My nickname. Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deerte. I've had that poster since 2002. So, I'm like, well, so I just get talking about him, because I'd been moving some funds around, because I've been wanting to get a Gen 5 ACR Viper, and you know what they're bringing. Big money. So, and I've had made a few plays, so I can pounce on one when it comes. And so we talked about this car a little bit, and I said, "What's a tribute car, man? They can't be worth more than 125 grand. I mean, that's a lot of work for that." Fast forward a couple more days, I talked to Troy. Now, Troy just bought my copper Charger 500. I had a T5 copper 444 speed, and he had bought that about 2 months ago. One of the cars I sold stockpiling money to pounce on the Gen 5.
Right, this is Troy from Mopars 5150.
Yep. So I talked to Troy, and he's like, no, Jeff, he goes, that's the real car. And I'd been following this car, and I'm like, no, the real car is like in Sweden or something. And it turns out it's actually that car, Joe Dirt car, been in the Netherlands for over 10 years.
Okay.
Because I kind of tracked it down, hoping to buy it, because I remember watching it sell on eBay for like 18 grand.
Did David Spade own that after the movie?
No.
He never owned it? Okay.
No. So I talked to him, and he's like, no, Jeff, the tribute meaning, they worded it wrong. It's a Daytona tribute Joe Dirt movie car.
That is a little
misleading.
Weird. Agreed.
So the guy who's selling it, kind of jumped in the game late. You know, my opinion is you get a movie car, an iconic car like that or something, it really kind of needs to follow the tour around for a year, getting all the hype up. Hey, this is going to sell here. Because, you know, a lot of people don't know that might be interested in that if it just gets thrown on the docket in the last 4 weeks. Okay, back to the car.
So this is a U-code car.
Yeah, so like Troy's got this on, Troy at Moparts 5150 has got this on Facebook for sale, like the week I'm going to go bid on this. And I'm like, dude, I'd buy the bird if I knew I wasn't going to get the Joe Dirt car. And he's like, well, you know, here, I'm just straight up, Jeff, because I got a guy who, if you don't buy it, it's gone. I got a guy who's you know, I'm giving you first right refusal. We're having this conversation while I'm at the airport for my connecting flight, getting to
go buy that.
To go buy that.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, I said, I can't buy two. You know, this Joe Dirt car's going to go for, you know, $200-300, and you know, we're over 100 on this. I mean, I want to touch, you know, showing out $300-400 grand over two cars. You know, you can do that. I can't.
No.
So,
I don't know about that.
So long story short, I said, well, here's what I'll do then. I said, I'll buy this bird. I'll go down there anyway, because there's no way I'm getting this Joe Dirt car. So I'll go down there, I'll take a million pictures of it. I'm going to take this blue car and I'm going to make a duplicate Joe Dirt car. If it was a Super Bird, this is going to be what it would look like.
Okay.
And then, so he's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So we make a deal on that. And I'm like, so then next step, I said, he goes, how much are you going to bid on that car? I said, I'm going to have to tap out at 150, 160. I said, why don't we just chip in together and we'll just buy the damn car? I said, I'd rather own half the car than none of the car.
Well, and you're going to run each other up.
Right.
But I had about 5 people ask me, a minimum of 5 people ask me what I thought that car would bring. I normally go to all the Barrett Jackson auctions. I wasn't going to go to that one. I think you did well buying Palm Beach. I think if that car had been at Scottsdale, it would have brought a lot more money.
I agree. 100%.
But my number was exactly what you guys paid. I said, I said, I don't think anybody's going to walk away from that car. That car's going to bring 300 grand.
Yep.
And they're all like, what? I'm like, I think that car at Scottsdale, sky's the limit. You were at the right place in my opinion.
I agree.
I don't think you paid too much for it. But.
No, and we exactly what Troy and I said. I said, well, for this getting shoved in through the last minute, Troy's biggest concern were the Copart guys. If those Copart guys are there, we're screwed because you're not buying. We bid. We don't have enough money to take all our money because they will buy it. End of discussion. So we decided 300. I was going to go up about 310. I didn't tell them that, but I just wanted not. We were going to stop at 300. I figured go 3,505 if it's creeping, or 310 if we had to. But if you watch the auction, it went from 370 to 390, 300 so fast, and you'll be like.
I think that was the number. It's cool though.
I agree. It wasn't getting sold.
So what I didn't, just from hearing a few stories after you guys got this car, before they did all this, it was a nice car.
Yes.
Like this wasn't some like rough derelict barn find Superbird.
Right.
So they went backwards on it, right? Like this was a nice plum crazy car, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you look at just stuff like the door jambs. I mean, this is just a survivor, you know. It was. I mean, you see the
but it wasn't like just a down on its knees, you know, nasty, rusty bird, which some of them are.
Oh, some of the stuff that's getting drug out now. What's happening? Fire right up.
Iowa. I love it. I think it's great. Yeah, so if you want to know where the Joe Dirt car is, it's in Oskaloosa, Iowa.
Yeah. Well, I've got this out for the left. So I had to put this because this was Kid Rock's lanyard last year for the No Snowflakes tour, Joe Dirt on it. So I had to
No Snowflakes tour.
Yeah, I had to put that in there because it was just like how more appropriate.
I love it.
But then it came with just all kinds of stuff in the movie.
That's cool. I mean, it really is.
It drives. I thought it was just so. Not only did I buy it, my sister lives in Palm Beach Gardens, 12 miles away.
No way, you didn't drive it over there.
Oh, I went in, I got the keys, signed all the paperwork, called Haggerty, got my insurance, jumped in it, and we drove it to my sister's house.
Well, I hope you embarrassed her.
She was gone, but, so my sister's got like this $3 million house, and I just pull right up in front of the drive. It's a gated community, you know, My daughter lives down there too. Her boyfriend went to the auction with me, and he's trying to explain.
So
this
cool.
is actually going with us. You have to let this guy in.
That's the other thing that's cool about your stuff is you actually drive it. This isn't just sitting in a museum.
Yeah.
No way. Let's go take it for a ride. Can we do that?
Yeah, we absolutely go for a ride.
Let her take her ship.
So life is full of a lot of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and being at Kelderman is definitely one of them. But driving the Joe Dirt car in Oskaloosa, Iowa, once in a lifetime. See ya. Now that is a great day to be alive, sir. Thanks, Jeff. I am grinning from ear to ear. That is cool.
Isn't that fun?
The car actually drives fantastic.
Well, it should. It's
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You get kind of comfortable with this too.
Oh, no, that's so you back in the day.
All right.
Good
What a
times.
great day.
Good times.
What time is it now? It's time to eat.
It's a good
Yeah.
time.
Time to eat. Get some. Got some steaks we're gonna throw on the grill, and
Yes.
being it's just about 4th of July, we might have to get out.
America.
We might run down to Kicking Wings fireworks stand and load up on some things to go boom.
Let's turn this into the 4th of July special.
There we go.
All right,
We can do it.
let's do
All
that.
right, let's roll.
So Jeff, this is only the second time in Coffee Walk history out of 307 episodes that somebody invited us to their home.
No kidding.
So thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate it. It's awesome having you guys. So this here is what we do in Southeast Iowa. We go to Fairway, we get ourselves some steaks, grill up some asparagus, got cheesy potatoes with some mushrooms. This is just this is old school Iowa right here.
I'm about to take her plate.
So he was bragging about the potatoes, the cheese, mushrooms. Look fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
We're gonna hit that first. Actually, we're gonna do Best Buy. We're gonna put them all together. Oh, perfect.
Where are you going?
Medium rare.
Trade places?
Yeah, that's cheers.
So we got medium rare steak, beautiful, mushrooms, potato, cheese. After a good long day of fun. Look at that, Sean P.
I know. I'm looking at mine. I have the hot mess express over here.
No, I don't have a glass car, but a grill.
Oh, was
Little
yours?
spirit guy.
You probably have.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir.
You got it.
That's awesome.
That's some good.
I'm sure this is the go-to.
That was some good beef.
I know how you beat that.
You come to Iowa, man. The steaks are amazing.
Wow,
up
that was
here.
amazing.
One I've got.
Seriously, and it's not that expensive. I mean, these are like $7.
Huh.
At Fairway.
Not in Dallas.
I know.
Yeah,
Certainly not where Zach lives. They're
No,
crazy expensive.
It's exactly $20.
Oskaloosa, Iowa. We're on their family farm. Look at that sunset.
There it is. Usually when it comes down to things that go.
Why are we taking the fun stuff off of it?
Yeah, let's blow the
Do we have
We
to?
had to find this.
Oh, the wick?
Most of them have
A wick?
silver piece on it. That one didn't have it.
Okay, so
And
what are we shooting now?
Sons of Liberty.
223.
223 from Sons of Liberty.
Yes, correct.
Wow.
With the Trigicon Reap night scope. And then these will eat up batteries pretty quick. So I have a Morphe from a cell phone rigged up over here to a little battery pack, so we can go coyote hunting and literally run 2-3 hours on just that Morphe.
So that's why you need this?
Yeah. Predator control. Okay. Can't have coyotes eating all our deer out here.
Hey, it's America, right?
All right, Jeff, so I've got this one I think is dead center.
Yes.
There's nothing else to do, right?
Where'd you go?
A little left.
We'll go right. Tits on?
I think so. Wow. Somebody's got to do it. Might as well be us. So,
Like this?
Jeff, thanks a ton. It was amazing. Happy 4th of July to everybody from
America.
Kelderman,
God bless
Collins
America.
Bros, and Coffee Walk.
bless America. Yes, sir.
Woo! All right, I see your Vipers. Unbelievable. Quick rundown on what you're doing with them.
So this is my first one I bought 3 years ago, and this is an absolute animal.
Oh, they're a handful for sure.
So I buy this. I go to the Viper Rendezvous, which is an annual event in Hastings, Nebraska, 5 hours from here. I usually have 50 to 60 Vipers. It's a 3-day track day just for Vipers.
Okay.
So I get there and I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. I'm going to learn how to drive. And I get there and, you know, all these guys started coming up to me. Is this your car? I'm like, yeah, why? And they're like, you know, no, just stay back. You know, don't be getting this front end blasted at the track, and you know, take it easy. You know, stay. You can run it hard, but just this is a really, really nice car. You really want to be careful with running this on the track. And so, you know, I got to thinking about it, and next thing you know, I decided to buy a real track car.
Okay.
So we bought this one a couple months later, and
So you can run it hard and not worry about it.
exactly. So
Okay.
you know, full roll cage, you got fire suppression, you know, ACR motor, X I should say, the race car stuff, motor, the brakes, and so I just started, you know, running a few track events and learning how to drive. So we drove this for the rest of the year, and I actually took this down to Florida and ran Sebring and Daytona and Homestead over the winter before last.
Okay.
And it really started enjoying this. This is kind of, and in the meanwhile, I also tried my hand at off-road racing or in the Mint 400, and ran a Pro X Razor, and took a really bad spill and really jacked my back up.
Gotcha.
To the point where I probably lucky I walked out of that. So after the MRIs, the doctor's like, well, you're gonna have to start finding some different hobbies because you're not off-road racing anymore. Because one more of these accidents,
Off-road racing is tough.
You're gonna be crawling. You're gonna be walking with your hands. So so we decided, okay, we'll do something else. So then I decided we're gonna spend a little more time road racing. I feel like that's a little more safer when you're bundled up like a burrito and
That's just super safe.
yeah, super safe.
Nothing wrong with it.
You know, 180 miles.
Nothing to see here.
180, you know, coming off turn 4 at Daytona, 180, and dropping down to the infield.
But again, think about that. The King was running faster than that in one of those.
No Hans, open face helmet.
Nothing.
Yeah, just
Five tires. Like, look at the technology you have.
yeah.
So you're going slow, sir.
I am going. He's
You have to remember the gas is on the right.
You know, the King was here last month.
Really?
In this garage. So
How cool is that?
yeah, you know, the Kyle Petty charity ride came through here. I've been on that since Been on those rides since 2002 was my first year. So
Well, that's a bucket list thing for sure.
Kyle Petty rides are near and dear to my heart.
I have to say the red cars are cool, but the black car.
The black car, I just got this about 3 months ago, and that's a 9-liter stroker, and it flies. So we just had the rendezvous last weekend, and we had the second
How
fastest
sticky
time.
these tires are.
Yep,
Where are we going?
Second fastest time right out of the gate, huh?
second fastest time of all out of 50 cars.
Well, then you're a good driver.
And the car that beat us is a GT3R carbon fiber 107 factory races. So he's a real good driver, real good car. So
Well, the Porsches are a handful too. I mean, both of these cars require a good driver.
yep.
These-
Oh yeah,
they're not real forgiving.
yeah, really deciding to road race and deciding to use a Viper is your first learning curve. Most people probably would say that's probably not the easiest car to learn on
I would agree with that.
because your traction control is this foot right here.
I've got quite a bit of time in these, but you have to be a driver. But it's fun
Yeah,
though. I
but
mean,
man,
it's-
once you learn how to drive with these things and you can predict the little bit of slide you can get out of these when the tires are hot and greasy, it is an absolute blast. I mean, so yeah, I actually won my first race last weekend, so
well, congratulations on that. That's awesome.
that was a good time.
So
we're-
the Joe Dirt car does exist. 3 Superbirds in a row. An actual Petty car built in Petty Garage. Unbelievable.
Been at this for a few years, and
You have.
all this, but what I'm most proud about this is this garage is an exact extension of my personality.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
close.
cool.
Choppers,
Pretty close.
Chrome
hot
hearts.
rod. My son, I gotta give my son credit for that one. That's his deal.
Really?
He got me into those. Yeah.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, Superbird, big Mopars.
Well, it's an honor to see your collection, but the way all this came together is your air ride suspension stuff makes our life so much better.
That's right.
We feel safer. The rides are great. We love our trucks. Thanks a ton for your time. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it. You're always welcome.
As always, please
Like, tag, share, and follow, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next week.